In 2019, the non-European objects belonging to the Franz Binder Museum Collection were proposed to be relocated in Sibiu from the Hermes House in the small square to the ASTRA Centre for Heritage in Dumbrava Forest. Of the 4,000 items moved, the Egyptian mummy with painted sarcophagus was the greatest challenge, both because of the complexity of the cultural asset and its state of preservation. The transport of this fragile assembly was thoroughly planned, while preparedness was executed under the coordination of the German specialist in restoration of mummies, Egyptian remains, and painted wood artifacts, Jens Klocke, whose expertise has the recognition of UNESCO. Since 1993, the mummy in the coffin and its lid were displayed in a historic showcase which was opened only once in 2004. At the time of 2019, the degradations recorded included advanced dehydration, cohesion loss, and painting layers detachments, which needed securing for the transport. In this regard, a temporary consolidation with cyclododecan was employed, offering the advantage of a quick and easy reversibility. The main property of this product is that after a certain time, it simply sublimates from the surface of the object, leaving the same condition as before the treatment. In this context, the on-site laboratory offered to the participants a hands-on opportunity to experiment various materials and methods. Assuring by all available means the protection of the asset, made possible to safely transfer the Egyptian mummy with painted sarcophagus to the settled destination.
Their name after 2,000 years, that's a kind of eternity that they sometimes dreamt of. So whenever I can, I do them the favor.
But it's inscripted somewhere, the name?
I would consider it very possible that the name is on here. But at this time, the writing was sometimes very simplified. So either the signs, the hieroglyphs, and the words and the grammar is a short version of what it should be if you want to read a complete sentence. Yeah, I was just running around and trying to understand what happened in the last 100 years, why we see some powder.
Okay.
Some look like insect infestation.
Which is not active anymore, as you can see.
You know?
No, I am asking.
All right. I'm not sure, but
Okay.
the smell in the room now here, and when we opened the showcase, it's very different to the smell that we know from our everyday life.
Yes.
I think this smell has to do something with chemical treatment.
Okay.
It's not a fine Egyptian mummy smell. It's more like the DDT and PCP and lindan smell from earlier treatments with some poison. There is always some filling material in between the wood parts. This is typical ancient Egyptian, and the filling material is always very brittle. And when the wood moves, due to relative humidity changes, then the filling material is ground to powder and it's crumbling out. This is what happens every time the wood is working against the other. in cases like here, these two bits will work a little bit against each other. And the filling material the ancient Egyptian put in here or in there is then rubbed to powder. And this is one bit of the stuff that we see. Then we see that protein-interested insects have been coming inside the showcase. And this looks like linen. This is linen binding, but in fact it's wool, I think, right? So linen wouldn't have been eaten away by the most common insects, except some of the silverfishy stuff. So this is not a good idea, I think, because this invites insects who are interested in proteins to come in and feel at home and move over to the inside of the mummy, which we don't see. So at the moment we don't care if the inside of the mummy is already eaten away. It looks pretty sound and safe, but you should watch this, I think. And the smell, coming back to the smell, I think it makes us hope that the insects who have been eaten here are still dead, because maybe they put enough poison inside to kill them all. I didn't look 100%, but I didn't find any wood-eating insect who should crawl around a few weeks and then drop dead and lie around here. We can have a proper look together, maybe, if we see some, but this is part of the hope that the insects in the wood are dead. Egyptian woodworkers had a problem because they didn't have much wood. Wood was very rare in Egypt and expensive because it doesn't grow much in Egypt. And so you see them often using little bits and pieces, nailing them together with wood, and doing some, it looks like recycling. And you sometimes see this wood has been a door frame, this wood has been a piece of a ship. But this is different. This here is the complete opposite of what you would expect. It's made out of 1 or 2 big trees. The complete tree hasn't been cut up to planks to be economic, but it has been hollowed out. If you go to the foot end of the coffin lid, you see where the center of the tree was. I think we are in the time of combination of gods. So this under there has features of Hathor, the cow-horned goddess, and it has features of Isis. I'm not an Egyptologist, but this looks like a composition goddess of Hathor and Isis. And Isis is often to find on the inside of coffins, on the undersides of coffins. So she stands behind the dead person who wants to convert into Osiris in the netherworld, be one with Osiris. And when you see Osiris in pictures, there's often his wife standing behind him. Like they fixed together 2 straight planks.
Okay.
And the joint of the planks opened, and that's the reason why the black material is coming out. And the black material comes from the inside of the mummy. So if you lift this mummy and turn it around, you will see a lot of debris and brittle, loose stuff.
Pentru diagnoza obiectelor de patrimoniu, noi ne-am dotat în primul rând pentru partea de pielărie și pergament, asta include carte, documente, și pentru că sunt miniaturi în cărțile vechi, pentru că sunt o grămadă de pigmenți, avem și echipamente în care putem face identificări de material pictural. Ne-am extins și la partea de lemn și de pictură și ca echipamente avem acest XRF în care se determină compoziția elementară a pigmenților și vedem pe bază de ce metale sunt. Da?
We are talking about a thing like the curse of the mummies or the curse of the pharaohs, and there is something real on it. When we wear gloves, examination gloves, and when we wear a particle filter mask that everybody has here, right? Then we are protecting ourselves against what might be part of the curse of the mummies. That is dust with microbes, with living microbes, dust of living microbes that have been grown on human tissue may grow in our lungs. So we might have a microbial infestation, mycosis, if we are unlucky. We can protect against that with the mask. We may inhale dead microbial material, which may lead to an allergic response of people who have problems with allergies. Some people don't already know that they will drop to the floor when they inhale a lot of this dust. So it's better to wear a mask than to get to know in this moment. So better be a bit cautious. And the third is the toxic material that may have been produced by the microbes. Some microbes produce toxic metabolites. This is stuff that they don't need and that they produce to prevent other organisms to live on their food. And this is another bad trick that can happen if you open an ancient tomb and inhale enough of the stuff. Then it may suppress your immune system and you may suffer of different things. So I would like to perform two different ways of securing the surface of mainly the coffin, not the mummy, because we can't do much to improve the mummy from here to there. It's quite stable. We could put some stainless steel pins in to secure some of the textile, but that's not so important at the moment. More important could be to secure the paint of the cartonnage mask, because there are a lot of little pieces coming off to secure it in place, but we do this at the last stage. First way to consolidate will be spraying a solution of cyclododecan in this petrol ether with a boiling range of 60 to 25 to 95 degrees. And first is to prepare the solution. The second thing I would like to do, this is meant to be to spray and consolidate small bits of paint that are lifting of the surface. And for the bigger chunks, for the bigger layers of paint that are detached, that are dislocated, or that are not supported by the wood, so there may be danger of breaking off and getting lost. For these areas, I would recommend to make up the Japanese tissue paper plasters, like these, that we did yesterday with a hot iron here. And one could prepare the tissue paper plasters, another could cut it down into little strips of different size. We could all try to move over there and have a look at the areas that I would like to divide into spraying, securing, and paper plaster securing. And be careful,
yes.
Not too much pressure,
Yes.
not to blow away the bits. There are some bits who are completely off.
De fapt, punga asta o să punem pentru ca substanța de consolidare să nu se evapore prea repede, să rămână concentrație și perioada să fie mult mai lungă în care ține consolidarea. Adică să ajungem la vreo 3 luni. În cazul în care refacem vitrina să avem...
climate
change
inside
slowly.
will change slower than we open it up.
Okay.
But
That's
your
good.
older colleague had the suspicion that because it's colder here, it could get a microclimate and get wet inside.
We will be here on Monday and we can open it
Open
with
it on
Carl.
Monday and look at the humidity chart.